good night, everybody. Welcome to the Real Talk Show. Kyle Joseph. On the next item is Unika Narayan. How you going, Unika?
Good
You okay?
night. I'm fine, just fine, just fine. Yeah.
I hope you water your plants tonight. And then we have Mark and Eva in the house.
Yeah. And good night, everybody. Hope you all are going excellent.
It's nice to be here with all of you. Good night, everyone. Welcome, guys, to the Real Talk Show. I know quite a few of you had a lot of fun on our last show, and I trust that tonight you will have just as much fun and you will be just as entertained. And I hope that you will take something away from the show, right? So tonight, guys, we are doing something. It's like a freestyle, all right? So we're doing a Q&A, but we focusing obviously on relationships. So this is going on from our previous show. So all you're doing is you're asking your questions. It could be anything based on relationships. Just ask a question and we hit to answer. There's a possibility that there may be a special guest tonight, but who knows, all right? We might just be in for some surprises tonight, but we'll wait and see, all right? So guys, the show is now getting started. I want to encourage all of you to like, share, and comment. All right, we want to hear from all of you, whatever your questions might be. If you know you don't want to say a name, you don't want nobody to know you asking this question. Very simply, just say asking for a friend. Even though at this stage, by me saying this, kind of self out, but don't worry, it's real talk, right? We all get here. We all are family. So feel free to ask your questions just about anything you're asking. And of course, once you comment, once you ask a question, whatever the case is, tell me where you're viewing from. You could win a giveaway, all right? You could qualify to win one of our Amazon vouchers. So all you do is comment, all you do is ask a question, all you do is say where you're viewing from, and you can qualify to win a voucher. So you're gonna be entertained and you're gonna be winning some stuff tonight, all right? So guys, let's get the show started. We're gonna go to Kyle Joseph. And I'm excited for all of you being here. I'm not sure how much of you are on yet, but I want to remind all of you to share, right? We're going to have a real awesome time tonight with everyone. Kyle, take it away.
Hey, good night, everybody. Tonight is gonna be an awesome night. I encourage you guys to like and share the stream. There's 20 something people. I know I'm waiting for people to come on, but only two people like the stream. So we encourage you guys to interact, like the stream, because you all want the excitement, you all want the entertainment, but it had to get out there, right? So you all, I encourage you all to do something with the stream. You had to share it with somebody, and also there might be a young man who may come on in the stream tonight, and he looking for love, looking to meet somebody. So share it with all your female friends. It might be somebody they might be interested in. So do all the thing, right? There's only 8 people, still 20 something people. All you interact with it, please. Yeah. So Onika, how you going? You good?
Good, good, good. Excited. I really hope that our surprise special guest makes it tonight.
Hmm.
I know people looking for the same experience they had for the last show, so hoping that that can happen tonight. Yeah.
On that note, we found some candidates for our official show, right? Because this is really not the official matchmaking show we're gonna have, right? We're gonna actually have a blind date show coming up. It was supposed to be this week, but some technical difficulties. See, current went whole day.
Brother, you're making up stories, Dread.
I just joking. Everybody should know I'm joking. One day, stop the whole thing now. Candidates is hard to find. So if you all have somebody because some people they want to meet somebody, but they don't believe they don't have the guts to come on the show. They don't have the belly to come on the show and to meet somebody. So I don't know what it would take. Some people are afraid of that, the little limelight, and that is up to them, right? But
Yeah.
I guess I would have enjoyed it, Mark. Would you would have enjoyed it?
Yeah.
I don't know if you would have do that by Mark, way. I'm trying to think if Mark would have. You think Onika or Eva? You think he would have do that?
Or for pure wildness and not for any seriousness.
Oh,
Maybe
no.
just wildness.
He might come on as some kind of character or something, and
Yeah.
No, I would have come on normal, I think.
I say that now, but I don't know. I don't think so,
okay,
personally.
okay, okay. But
Mark
what we
alone,
gonna do? Huh? What you saying, Eva?
I said Mark alone can answer that.
Oh, okay. Hey, so we want to say good night to everybody who's viewing so far. It's our 28 people. Like and share the stream, please, guys, and also interact with it. We only have 12 people interact with it, and we have close to 30 people. So do all the thing. we have somebody coming that's gonna be entertaining. If we get in there, we're trying to build a stream. So when you can have a first question, and we want you guys to send some questions when it comes to relationships, some things you might wonder about, right? So maybe my first question to you, right, is this, right? It's linked to relationships, but I have a little twist on it, right? Is something wrong if it is you have a preference type and is linked to race? Like somebody say, I don't like Africans, or I don't like Indian, or I don't like white girls. Something wrong with
Yeah.
that?
You just button
Asking.
hard question. Um,
Maybe in the comments you all can tell me tonight too, right? We all think if some because that's a common thing. I
okay.
realize people say they have a type, and one of the things is the type is actually somebody with like when it comes to the race, you know.
Um, I I think if you have a preference as race, it's
Hmm.
like any other preference you might have. You might have a preference, light skin, dark skin, tall, big hips, whatever, right? Like any other preference, once it doesn't hinder you, like let's say you do meet somebody who, okay, let's say I have a preference race. I don't like Chinese men, right? And you do meet a Chinese guy who fit all the criteria, right? All your criteria,
But he's a Chinese, but good.
except right, except the fact that he's a Chinese, and this person you all get along. You realize he could make a good husband. You have everything, and if his race is the only thing that deter you from pursuing a relationship with him, then I might call that maybe racism. I just being honest. That's just
You
me.
call
I would call
you
it
call it what?
borderline racism. Yeah, because if
Oh, okay.
everything else about him good and just because of his race you're not pursuing him, then that's a serious thing. Even if but people take it. I know somebody, Kyle, I think you know the person too, who told
Mhm.
me that one of their main criteria in choosing a woman is she has to have a big butt, right?
He
She
didn't
has to
lie.
have
All right, good.
huh?
Sorry.
A butt.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
The person cannot have no butt, no behind, right?
Right.
He said that's impossible. He said he would never be with a girl who does not have, right? He said that, and he was dead serious. Now, I consider that shallow and just as silly as the person who will not be with somebody because of their race, even though they fit. So, the girl could be the perfect girl, but because she have a flat bottom, you're not going to be with her. So you're just like the racist. Something wrong. So I see nothing wrong with preferences on a whole, but not if
Mhm.
it's gonna keep you back. If you do meet that person and the person really does have, you know, all the qualities you want, except that one thing and that hindering you, I, I think that's or let's say God might even talk to you and say, hey, that's the one, but because the person look a certain way or a certain race, you rejecting them, something
Mhm.
wrong.
What do you think, Mark?
Um, I think
Because
that
it have other factors who go into it. Like maybe some people might say because of like their parents might have an issue, or even culturally, people might have an issue. Like because you're with this person, people will see how maybe you sell out or some. If it have different reasons. People like things. It have real reasons people is deal with, and they might say, well, I don't want to be with this person. Even cultural reasons, like maybe you come from like an Indian background, or maybe a Chinese band, they have the whole cultural and whole ritualistic things that they do. And they might say I just want nothing to do with that. What's your thoughts on that, Mark?
I think everybody have preferences. I think you had preferences.
No, you are preferences.
Yeah, I had preferences.
Hey!
You are preferences, ma'am.
Yeah, but honestly, I had certain things that I would have preferred as well, and I don't think anything wrong with it. But it could also become an idol that it could have somebody that God would have as a great companion for you, and because they don't necessarily have a certain preference that you looking for, you might overlook that person. So it could go either way. I know God does want to, give you the desires of your heart, but then how you just know if what your heart desiring is something that of God or godly. But I don't know honestly. I think nothing wrong with having preferences, but you cannot have it to the point as an idol. You still have to be able to submit it to God. But then I just wonder too, like if certain things bad to
Well,
want
that
as
one.
a friend.
Well, that's the next thing I was gonna ask. Like when I say it come to a preference, like a preference, like maybe something like what they like to do, different things about the personality you have. But when it's just to say the race, that's not something a little red. That's how you find that's like a harsh thing to say. I that
Yeah,
Indian, I good.
Yes.
Yes.
but I know people that don't would not like to be with a certain race because of past experiences.
You know what?
I've heard people say, "I'll never go with this particular race again because of what past people of that race or tribe would have done to them."
That's right.
Yeah,
Tribe. Okay, okay, okay.
and
Well,
then
well,
Interesting.
I also, my father would suggest to me, I wouldn't say what, but he would suggest a certain tribe to me. He would say, "See, you see those from that
Tribe.
tribe,
Mm.
they're gonna be a real good wife to you." So I kind of always had that in my mind too.
I didn't know your race does determine everything about you. That's interesting.
But I don't know if maybe that's a bad way to look at things because somebody's
Yes, it
more
is.
than there's more than you're more than the outward. You
Yes.
are the inward, which is what really draw you to me.
Yeah, okay, all right. I am stupid.
It just happened to be.
But you wanted as well.
It just happened to be. It just
Okay.
was a coincidence.
Okay, guys, we just won. Now come on, you move.
Anyhow, people now joining and they're saying in Miss Much. What do you think we asking, guys? Is if race as a preference is a good or a bad thing? Because I often hear people say it, especially Christians. They say, well, not say especially, I just saying our Christians now in my circle. Out there, some people say certain things, and I just be wondering, like, is it if when it make
what's up?
Yeah.
What's the internet? Oh, he gone. Okay. So, guys, we waiting for Kyle to come back, but I want to hear your 2 cents though. Tell us what you think about somebody who has a preference based on race. Do you all think that's okay? Do you all think that it shouldn't be, or what would be the reason for that? Maybe it's just a look. I don't know. I don't know.
But would you say that attraction is that's a part as well of being with somebody? Could you marry somebody and you're not attracted to them, but they would be a good wife based on other qualities?
yeah, there are people who there are plenty of people who marry people just based upon what they could do, or even like blind, like people who meet through families and different things. Sometimes the person might find the person like real good looking or something or attracted in that way, but they know they will make a good husband or a wife, and because of other beneficial things, money, that certain lifestyle, people choose people based on a lot of different reasons.
I think though, like in the let's say maybe in the days of the Bible, okay, God will always encourage his people not to marry idol worshippers, right?
Right? True.
And so it would be people from different, as Mark said, tribes, right? Who I guess
Yeah.
you look at certain way if you're from this tribe or that tribe or whatever. And the only preference I know God has is if you are a child of God or not. That's the only preference God stipulated
Amen.
in the Bible, right?
Amen.
He said you could marry, but only in the Lord. He never said to us that we could only marry within our tribe because the other tribes worship idols. We know that that's abolished, right? That no Jew and Gentile, same, you know what I mean? So now as a believer, I think your only preference should be if this person is a child of God or not. I don't think race should play a part in that at all. I don't think so.
But what if Onika here you're saying, right? Like for me personally, right? I could see any race and I find that attractive. Because I don't necessarily think like that, right? I mean, so anybody, I see anybody and they're attractive. But there are people who maybe they see a certain race and they see they're even attracted to that person because
They
you know
can't
what I mean? They
yeah,
can't see any beauty in them. It's
yeah,
something deep inside them. They can't even see beauty in them in that kind of way.
yeah, and
So
I think a lot of that is somebody making noise in the background. I don't know if it's sounding like frogs or something, but
I
probably
think
not.
it's a mark on them. I think maybe something echoing. Again, a little
Okay,
feedback or something.
okay.
Yeah.
um, like I think I was telling you the other day, Kyle. I was like, I've stumbled upon this girl from Africa.
Mhm.
Beautiful girl. Her skin is like black, like night, right? But her skin is beautiful. Her teeth is, well, she's beautiful. She's a real beautiful girl. But she's very dark. And the kind of comments that she's getting, her YouTube channel building and stuff, and people would actually comment and say, "Gosh, your skin is so dark. I hate your skin color." And say stupid things about her hair and all kind of thing, right? She's an African, born in Africa, whatever, right? And I'm watching this girl and I'm saying this girl is so beautiful, but there are people
Yeah, she's
who,
a pretty girl. Yes. Hmm.
because of how dark, what's your problem, guys?
I saw her. You show me the person. I said, yeah, she's a pretty
Okay.
girl. Go ahead.
Right.
Hmm.
Because of how dark her skin is, because her skin is
The right to
really
fight
dark,
me. Yes. Uh-huh.
right? Her skin is really dark. People, they can't see her, they cannot see her. Listen, no matter what or how you try and you show them her features, but they cannot see her beauty because her skin is
Right.
so dark. And I think
Uh,
that is racism. I'm sorry, I think that's racism.
well, even in well, like you was talking about like with God and people, and he didn't want them, but you'd see in the Bible the children well, especially well, I should say in children of Israel, Miriam and them had an issue with Moses' wife, and because
Yes,
she was dark skinned, and God
right.
didn't like that at all. And you all know what
Yes,
happened is a plague came upon Miriam
absolutely.
and different things like that, and
Yeah.
it was a bad thing that happened, and God had an issue with how it is they was treating
You did her because
because and it's actually because the Bible is clear. It's not because she had an issue with her like they fall out or something. It's because of the color of her skin. She was
yeah,
treated a certain way, and God didn't actually like that. So that is so people that say yes get brainwashed through TV and all kind of thing, right? But it seemed like even back then that was an issue.
yeah. You're right. It's
Yeah.
true. People had nothing to influence them then.
Well, I guess
Therefore,
culturally they might have things to influence them. Then culturally, I guess they have the
yeah,
different camps and they might have looked down on certain. Because remember, Moses left Egypt and he went and he met her. So maybe they were separated from obviously the Hebrews and also the Egyptians. So maybe they had an issue with how she was looking and they had like, certain prejudice even that back then. I guess.
yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
interesting. I never really put a lot of thought into that, the fact that even back then, without any sort of social influence or anything, media, whatever, they had a problem with Miriam being, not Miriam, sorry, Moses' wife
All right.
being dark skinned, or darker
Mhm.
than normal. Very interesting. Very interesting.
Because I guess these things exist within society for a long while because that's what Rwanda was about, right? Rwanda with the different same dark, everybody dark, but it does the shape of the nose and different things, and it's had the different tribes, and they actually hated it. We all know if check your history and you'll see the big war and everything that happened between these people. So it's interesting to know that these things happen, and people could have those things in their heart when it comes
Yep.
to when it comes to even choosing somebody to marry and different things like that. I just find it
Yeah.
interesting,
Yeah.
With some you guys listening on, what's a question you might want to have? Huh?
I just want to make
Sorry?
it clear that I have no issue. My last name is Narain. So
Well, your issues could be anything, right? So, but let's not
I
get into your issues this sooner. This is not counseling session here, Monica. Let's not get into your issues here tonight, right? But we encourage you guys, people giving a lot of statements to people making things, and we want to hear them, right, Eva? But we want you guys to send in any questions that link to anything to do with relationships, and we want to talk about it. Just like a simple thing we bring up here today with something like simple thing like your preference when it comes to race, if something is bad about that, because you might have that question as a believer right now, and you might be wondering, like what's the situation like that, right? Maybe anybody, any other, you're in little circles by the time mark, and you interact with people. What's a common question people might ask when it comes to relationship? While we waiting for people to come, because I have plenty I could release there, but I want to hear you.
Um, right. So the common questions people has asked concerning relationships.
Yeah, like when we won. Let me just say the question.
Um, well, one of them is well, there's and something to do with marriage. Are too far. Just kind of wonder like how you just handle the finances. So like, do everybody, the husband have his finances separate? Does the wife have her finances separate? Do we have a joint account? Like, who does manage it if somebody's overseas, kind of thing. So that's
Okay.
one. Also, another big one is if you will give your wife or husband the password to your phone because it had some, that was a big topic in work actually last week, where some of the men was saying they would feel real uncomfortable if somebody going through their phone, they'll feel almost like they're invading their privacy and thing like that. So phone etiquette in marriage is a big one too.
What about a prenup? That's a common thing in the world right now. And maybe I want to ask that question. Is something wrong?
This
Sorry? Huh?
is interesting. Somebody who had a discussion. You asked me that. Somebody asked me this week about a prenup. Who
Let me
was
hear a little online. I want to hear that question for everybody online. I want to hear answer that question, right? Is something wrong as a believer? If it is before you get married, they take out a prenup. What do you think, Onika?
Oh, yeah.
People, I'm gonna tell you something. It's actually a common thing now. Where it have they actually, I was watching Shark Tank, and there's a company that released an app. They could actually have all illegal things and everything, and they could actually go and well, those people they invested in it. So hopefully, but I think that's something like last year. So maybe it will start to grow right. But what your idea behind it is when you go by a lawyer, things will be complicated. So they make it in a simple way where they just could go, or they could read up the document and agree together, and or they call it a prenup. And it's actually a big thing happening. So let me hear your question, your thoughts. What is wrong with having a prenup, or if you get one or no getting one? What's your thoughts on that?
Um, well, okay. If somebody has a lot of assets, right? I can understand, and they're marrying somebody, and the thought is that I want to protect myself, right, in this area. Then I would say that that person has a bit of maybe mistrust or a little uncertainty where the person's motive. Okay, this is how I look at it. This is how I look at it, right? And I'm not. This is not the right answer. This is how I look at it. Um, to me, it is like it is already making provision for if things end. So you're thinking ahead that okay, if we separate, if we divorce, I want to have this to protect certain assets. I want to make sure this happen, that I get this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So somebody with a lot of assets, a lot of money, if they are marrying somebody and they're not certain, I can understand how that person. All right, somebody like Elon Musk, right?
Hmm.
Who is like one of the richest men in
Well,
the world.
what's the guy name who I was gonna try? He named blank me right now, but
Jeff
she's his
Yeah,
wife.
Bezos.
Right,
right,
his wife's the richest woman in the world because of a simple
right,
divorce.
right,
Yeah,
Anyhow,
right.
go ahead.
So men like that, right, who are so wealthy, they do stand the risk of a woman just showing interest because of their money. As sad as
Right.
it is, the
Mhm.
risk of somebody just being with them for their money is very high, right? It's
Yeah.
very, very high. And so I would not necessarily give them wrong. I mean, I wouldn't give them wrong. But
Right.
if you just have a house and a car and $2,000 in the bank account and you get married and want to, you want prenup, and to me, I think it says you don't totally, you're going in with a little bit of hesitance or maybe a little mistrust, or you're not sure, so I don't know. I don't know how I would feel about that. I don't know. And
If Mark wanted to take a prenup on your way, I tell him.
you want to know why prenup?
It's how Eva laugh. Eva laugh like I pity the fool. But let me be a little practical. I mean, a little really here. If it is somebody really want, eh?
Personally, I don't think I would agree to it because I mean, this might kind of be narrow minded, but to me, I see the purpose of a prenup is for divorce at the end of the day.
Right.
yeah,
Jump
Hmm.
high, jump low. And to me personally, going into a marriage with a prenup, it means that I have the expectation that there's a possibility of divorce. And me personally, with my beliefs, my background, and the man I choose, not literally talk about me here, divorce is nowhere in my thinking. So a prenup to me is a waste of money because I have to pay an attorney to sign and do all the paperwork. It literally is a waste of money because in no way am I ever seeing a divorce happening or any type of separation happening. And at the same time, I too will see it as some amount of as trust. There's some level of trust because You feel like, okay, if things reach at this point, then we had to know how we doing this thing, who gets in what, whatever the case is. And I just feel like a prenup is the person's way of saying there is room for separation, there is room for divorce,
If you
there's a
was rich, if you was rich, Eva, and you own a big restaurant chain and you have money and you meet this person and they have nothing to do with your wealth in any kind of way. It means you meet them and like say it's Mark in the same situation, right? And like but they say you're just really rich. What you would have done?
I still personally, I mean, I don't know if I'm saying this now, but personally, I disagree with it because at the end of the day, the purpose of a prenup is for divorce. It's for nothing but divorce. Because if we're gonna be with each other for the rest of our lives, there's no reason for a prenup. If we know that to ourselves and we make that commitment for ourselves, there's no purpose for a prenup. It's literally wasted money. So I
Right.
think even if
Eva,
I'm rich at the end of the day, my assets is his assets. His assets is my assets now. That's just the way I see it.
you made a statement when you started answering the question. You said you don't know if it's you being naive. Um, but the fact of the matter is 50% of marriages do end in divorce. And I don't know anybody who gets married who would not say what you just said. Who would
True.
not say, I get married for life and this is my husband. You know what I mean? Maybe they might have some modern thinking person now who say, well, yeah, if it don't work out, I get divorced, right? But that's far and few between. But most people get married and nobody is thinking that they're going to be divorced in 10 years or five. Nobody. Um, but it's but if we used to do things God's way, right, and what God's intention was for marriage and for a man and a woman, there's really no separation. The two shall become one. But you're dealing with you know, human.
Especially when it, like be real, like, Onika, you hit the nail on the head a little bit, right? Especially when it comes to money. Especially like say for a man and a woman can maybe show a lot of love to get into that marriage to that kind of way. Even a guy who if the opposite was like a real plenty. And they would be willing to take a lot of nonsense
Yeah,
for some years
yeah.
because they already know their life set for some time. Yeah, understand where I'm coming from, right?
I know
So
two
get into the
people
long haul.
who said that they married for money. I don't want to say the whole statement, right? But they married for two
Right.
things. And one of them was money, and they said it after they
And
were
I'll be
separated.
and I'll be honest, right, Unika, Eva said
And
this statement, right?
it was a man who married a woman, and
A
he said
woman for money.
he wanted
Wow.
security. He never had a house, and the person had everything, and so basically, yeah,
Yeah.
that what he said. But they
They're
divorced.
together to this day.
Huh?
Are they still together? Are they still
No, they
married and in
divorced.
love?
They divorced.
The
No, they
divorce.
divorced.
I'm sorry
Yeah.
to hear that.
Yeah, but on a real though, I could understand somebody who want to do it, especially if they are because I pay
Right.
myself in the position, right? If it is I with somebody and I well, obviously not with somebody, but that's saying right, like in that kind of situation, and I real money, and they throw that statement what Eva make, and you Onika, you said like, well, how could you be thinking about divorce, right? And why does it take you don't love me? And I'll say, well, if it is both of we not thinking about divorce, then
What,
what's so wrong with signing it? Where's the problem signing it then? Because you planning to stay with
Then
me
why
forever, and I
get
plan to stay with you ever. Eh?
exactly? So if both of us planning to stay with each other forever, why get it in the first place? The
Because you
same way
had to
you
have,
telling me why sign it,
yeah.
why get it? It works
Because
both ways.
I'll say trust the process, girl. Trust the process,
You said I gonna tell you the same thing. Trust the process. You're gonna remain together
right?
for the rest of your life.
I don't know what happen. Do you know there are people who even before I saw things like this already, right? That even before they get married, the women refusing to sign prenup and thing, and it's
Yeah.
because and they done already had a plan for situations and men leave women and things for that already because it's real
yeah.
things that happen. Like a good
But
example, right?
people
Yeah,
marry for money, so I
it's
can
a
see some of
common
the
thing
money.
in NBA and different things. Is actually an NBA player I thinking about. I heard his story, and that's what happened. He leave his wife at the altar because she suggests certain like a certain priest that she wanted to get married to, and the
Married
priest
to?
was no well sorry that he wanted to who she wanted to
Okay.
because the reason being is exact same thinking that we said that Eva and you say no Nika that the priest was going to push and say that although you really love the woman different thing that trust God and different thing like that and that's because he wanted a prenup to protect himself and he ended up didn't get married to her because What ended up happening is she say that she would have signed it, right? And but she started to cry and thing. And the man said, nah, I good. Because what happened in the court of law, if it is you sign something, a document under pressure, it will be fall under void. So the man say, I good.
Boy, okay,
Yeah,
okay, okay.
because you put more
Yeah.
under a pressure situation, and so they ain't end up getting married because of that. So it's just
Yeah.
interesting to hear. I know saying some people saying I know that story is actually a big actually basketballer that I can't remember the guy name. I just saw the story and I just found this interesting that these people live that is a real thing that's happened to people, you know.
It's actually hard actual rich people to
Mhm.
determine if people really love them. Very wealthy people. It's very
Right.
Right.
difficult.
And the
Wow.
thing is, that kind of takes me to ask. So, because I didn't want to sign a prenup at that point in time, you choose not to marry me? It's that crazy. So, it kind of makes you wonder what is more valuable. Is it that I'm not as valuable as your asset, so you choose to leave me at the altar
Well,
just because I
to,
choose not to sign a prenup?
to these people, remember, all right, you have to be a little practical, right? If it is your own businesses and different things, some people it actually required that you have to take your business partners and they might tell you, you have to secure everything, or else this woman gonna get half your money, this gonna happen, you got issues in the company, or and they would actually set things in motion to let you know you can't just go and get married just like that and things like that. When it
In
comes to business
instances
and things.
in instances like that, I guess I could understand, but I just find it drastic to actually leave somebody. You leave the person because you don't sign a prenup. I mean, I understand both sides of it, but I just find it crazy because for you to say, okay, let's get married, we're gonna get married, is because you feel like, okay, this is the person I want to be with for the rest of my life. I love this person, this person loves me. I can't get any better than this because you had a whole world of women to choose from and you choose this person. And because the person no one to sign this paper, all right, well, forget it. You're not the one anymore. Bye. That's how I
Right.
feel. I understand both sides of it, but that's one side of it.
Well, let me hear everybody saying online, and also I think it's had one or two people asked a question. So when you're going through the comments, Eva, I guess you see the
Yeah, the
question. I can't see it no
conversation is
more.
going.
Yeah, you go ahead, Eva.
All right, so we want to say good night to Ayana, Toussaint, Risa Mark. Risa Mark says sometimes it's the attitude of the person people are turned off by, or cultures and the way they were brought up, mannerisms, beliefs, habits, behavior, etc. This is when we're talking about race and so on. Just we have grown up that everything black is bad and everything white or light skin is the best. Aisha Jordan, good night to you. Aisha is saying what you hoping for and what you end up with sometimes completely different when God is the matchmaker. Just have to keep your heart open to Him so that your heart will be open to the person no matter what race. Because the kingdom of heaven is for every race. Lizzie Dowdy, good night to you. Good night, everyone. Kerwin Narayan, I know a man who wanted children with long straight hair and used to post videos with children and say he will comb his daughter's hair, but he fall in love. Okay, well I guess he don't have daughters with long straight hair anymore. Um, Katie, I think that goes back to what was taught and it resulted in the inability to accept all hues. Colorism is real as well. Justina, today, because of people traveling and more educated, they think differently. Um, let me see. Let me see. Any other says what privacy you want in marriage? I think this is when
Will
Rosie was
somebody
talking about the
phone?
messages and the phone and
Ah,
stuff like
food. Yeah.
Ayana, I don't believe in a prenuptial agreement. Ayana say no. Mashika says no, some assuming it's the same thing. Cat's highly blessed says that is violation of privacy. Any other prenuptial or for rich people. True. Well, I guess that's the point we gotta hear, right? Ayana, why marry someone who you have to protect yourself from? That is a serious one. Justina, as a believer, prenup should be a no. Kat says, I believe in prenups. So we gain both sides here
Yeah.
tonight. Rondell Marshall. Good night. Good night, Rondell. Welcome to the Real Talk Show again. I believe this is Rondell that we had here last week.
Yeah,
Serrana, prenup, nothing. Password, nothing. Paps,
that's right.
Serrana. uh, Katie, I kind of 50-50 about it. People manipulative out here. You see, I understand that one, Katie, I understand. Let me see. Ayana says she agrees with Onika. Cohen says poor people don't worry about that. You see, nobody had that.
Yeah.
Prenup, you talking about prenup? That was never even that was in my mind. Anyhow, but divorce is real. If I was rich, I would have gotten one, right? Mashika, I want to know of the person here for love or for my money. Oh, so that's another side of it. You want to know the
Yeah.
person for your lover. Okay. That's another way to look at it. It's true.
Right.
Krista, prenup is like you're anticipating divorce. If you don't trust them, why marry them? QD, Lala 2000 in the bank account. Somebody say 2000 in the bank. I still can't say
Yeah,
that.
like plenty money for some people still.
It's true. Ayana, how soon is too soon to get married to someone? So we have a question there, right, guys? How soon is soon to get married to someone? Let me go through some more comments and we'll actually answer that after, right? Risa says for believers that would be sad if you're not sure of the person, then you may not be ready for marriage with that person. Shika, what about if you're poor now and get rich later? So $2,000 in the bank account. It's true, yeah, $2,000 now, but later on in life, too late. Is it too late? You can't get prenup after marriage. I don't even know how to say it. And I think there's actually legal things that state that when you go into a marriage, whatever you've had before the marriage is rightfully yours if you were to get a divorce. I think so. But I mean, based on what she's saying here, that wouldn't work in your favor at all. Ayana, and what's the advisable time period to know someone before considering marriage with them? All right, so we have a two-part question there. How soon is too soon to get married to someone? And the second part of that question, what's the advisable time period to know someone before considering marriage with them? That's kind of the same thing, is it? Anyala, we saying this because we're not rich. Leslie, we say Leslie say the same thing? No, Leslie, we live in a fallen world. Bad things happen to good people. Now we got to in the rain. Many conditions may require prenuptial shares in companies. People are more than just themselves individually. There may be business contracts that require it. Nix you and Cohen, watch me the ball.
Yeah.
I'm like Cohen, Mashika, lots of Christians getting divorced these days. That's not good. Mashika, what if my inheritance warrants me to have a prenuptial agreement with my spouse? Well, I guess that as well could be a serious circumstance, and in a case like that, well, yeah, you don't have a choice. Naomi, why do we need a prenup? Mashika, lands to be shared with my family. My husband now gets half of the pups. Family, husband, any family, yes?
Yeah.
Rich. Even the Rhino business might give you shares, but do not want your spouse running the company because it may not be their expertise. So there may be an agreement that to protect the company. All right, cool. At least have a for
Yes,
sure.
that's fine. I cry too.
And yeah, like don't see that's wrong. Had been rich, I would have gotten one. I feel like I read this already. All right, let me
Just saying it over and over.
Yeah, she said the third time she said it after.
Mr. Mark, in the world, people marry for all types of reasons. Therefore, in those cases, absolutely yes. Wisdom is needed to protect business and investment. But good. All right, so here, Risa. Ayana, he was wondering of her intentions to wanting to marry him. Kuin Narain, rich man with houses get married. He dies and his wife owns all and she gives nothing for his previous children. So he may want to protect her heritage for his children. Okay. Yes, Kuin, we get the point. You think a prenup is necessary. Marissa, people have convictions that they need to deal with. Justina, I am signing a prenup. I want my half in black and white from the start. Papa laps. Justina, I'm finding something aggressive there, you know, Justina. Kavi Mirage prenuptial is a predetermined mindset that it will not work out. Maya, Julia, and Maya, I think this is the first time I'm seeing you here. If this is your first time viewing, let us know. A special good night to you and welcome to the Real Talk Show. Maya says that I have nothing to do with trust overall. Humans are deceptive. I believe in prenups. All right, I'm gonna do my first giveaway. My first giveaway tonight gonna go to Aniala Sturge.
Hey,
Congratulations to you, Aniala. Big up your whole self. You are our first winner tonight. So, guys, like you see, all you have to do is comment to win one of our giveaways. All right, and that's an Amazon voucher. Once you hear your name, you're gonna inbox us your email address, inbox us, right? And we're gonna contact you in order for you to receive your prize. All right. Congratulations again to Aniala and Kyla, Nick, Mark. You could go ahead with that first question that we had.
Time frame.
The
which
time frame
one?
for
Time
marriage.
frame for marriage.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you get Nix.
Yeah.
It was a
What do you
two-part question.
think? No, she just want to know what is the appropriate time frame for
Let me
marriage.
repeat the question for you, Nick. How soon is too soon to get married to someone? And the other part of it, what's
Oh,
the
she asked
advice?
another question. Okay.
Yeah, what's the advisable time period to know someone before considering marriage with them? I think it's kind of the same question.
Mm-mm.
Kind
No?
of.
How long you had to know them and how long you should
Well,
take?
how soon is too soon, maybe? I don't know. Listen, you can't put everybody in one big box with that. You can't make a broad statement. I don't think so. Because I have known people who got married based on, this is something I kind of don't necessarily agree with, and I would perhaps never, even if I know if God told me, I would never tell the person, right? But I know a couple who got married based on a word or several words that they got from their pastors, right? And people who visit, like a visiting prophet or whatever. They were just casual friends, and they started chatting with each other more because they kept getting this prophetic word, right? And as I said, I don't necessarily agree with that, but they started talking because of that, and they actually did end up in a relationship, and they got married. They got married in a few months, within a few months, so like maybe 7, 8 months, right?
Mhm.
But they knew each other before, though. They were in the same church for years, right? So it wasn't like a stranger you met and got married in 7 months, right? They knew each other, they knew each other's family because they basically went to the same church for many years. But they only started talking and getting into a relationship within like a 6, 7 month period, and they got married, right? I know people who done less and they got married. So it's hard to say, but I am a strong believer in getting to know somebody. I because people could if you meet a complete stranger, unless you have a strong sense from the Holy Spirit, like both of you, I think you need to get to know somebody, get to know their family, get to know about their past, get to know, different things about the person. So to put a time frame, but I would say no less than a year. That's just my advice, right? No less than a year. And for me, a year is still kind of quicker. If it's two adults, right, who let's say maybe knew each other before, I could see things wrapping up in a year. But like you're now meeting somebody, give yourself some time to get to know the person. So no less than a year, but I think ideally if you could know somebody 2 years and then perhaps, get married. But if you're sure, if you have a sure sense from the Holy Spirit, or you really feel a peace from the Holy Spirit, like hey, both of you all on the same page, why prolong it? That's just me.
Okay, okay, okay. Um, and I honestly thanks for the answer. Well, so maybe I'll piggyback off she question, right, Onika? Maybe I'll ask Mark. How is actually know when you're ready?
Um, I think one of the ways you'll know is in the flesh, your body just give you like an idea that you're feeling, like you're longing for the person. It's like a longing you feel.
That's how you just know you're ready
That's
to
No,
me.
but I talk about your body.
Hey, respect Mark, I respect you.
what time no one get married then?
No one, I ain't finished. Right? I how you know you're ready? I would say that you got your relationship you pray, you ask God to confirm, if this person is for you. Um,
Mark, say your body. Oh, forgive me. Forgive me.
I talking about like when you know the person and thing, and as you get along in the relationship and you're seeing good fruits. Um,
Uh-huh.
That's what you meant. That's what you meant.
yeah, like after all right, you go on a crusade, you drop home, you going home, you feel like, you wish you
You
could
went
have
on a
spent the night talk to her about what God did, these different things. You say, you know what, I feel we need to, get married.
We get too many food in room.
people say you just dig yourself into a hole way.
Yeah.
Yeah. After that statement.
Give us a answer,
All right.
please.
I think how you know you're ready for marriage is when you feel like you reach a place in Christ that you have freedom from your major addictions or the things that you would have been in bondage to when you first came to the Lord. When you walk in freedom for a while, I think that is one of the ways you could know you're ready for a relationship. And then also, you're ready for marriage when you see that the relationship that you and your wife have, you see it going to a point that it needs to go to the next level. I believe every marriage has a purpose in the natural, where your wife is a companion and you'll have children and things. That's one of the things God expect. But I believe also in marriage, God has a plan for your marriage to advance His kingdom, and you will see that us being apart is hindering.
I laugh.
Mark,
I laugh at the comments. People just all over the place.
Mark got me like, where is going, boy? Like,
Right now, Ava Mark still trying to rebound from that first statement he make.
I mean, after a while, when you never come here, but we caught for about 7 years. It's come a time where you feel like you really need to be, you want to be one. Your flesh, the two need to become one.
If you, if,
This is what the Bible says. A man can leave his mother
okay,
and father
Mark,
to his wife, and you're
Mark,
feeling to
you know why you got married. You know why you got married.
I never, that was the thing,
You see
It
how you
wasn't
make
that.
sense?
If it was that,
What
we
kind
would
of
have
thing?
never caught for
So
7 years.
the whole are real to speak.
if I did not watch Mark one time,
Oh, brother. Oh, boy.
Monica, you would like to try take a jab at the answer? Because
How you
I
know
did say,
when he's ready?
it's like most people say you're not ready, and then also two people say to themselves, well, oh, you could say I'm not ready, but the people feeling like they're ready, you know what I mean? So with
Yeah,
something in that scenario where you say that this person need to be ready in that kind of way.
especially, I mean, you're going around 7 years. I mean, oh gosh, and your body doing stuff. Well, sorry, based on Mark, the Bible actually say don't prolong the thing, get married, right? But how you know you're ready?
Without was saying, like don't say marriage, but like say relationship. You're ready to actually get into a relationship and meet somebody, and
Oh, that's what you're asking. How you know if you're ready?
I switch it for that because here when the marriage
Okay.
thing, people go say I dated for 7 years and all them kind of, you know.
Yeah.
But go ahead, dating. You're ready because there are a lot of single people on this stream right now, right?
Well, everybody could think they're ready, you know. I mean, to tell anybody, I never tell anybody they're not ready and they take me on. Nobody. We in ministry, how much years doing? We in ministry over a little over 20 years, right? And nobody, everybody just think they're ready. When you tell them they're ready, everybody. So I don't even bother with that again, right? But um I think if you're a believer, to be honest, if you're a believer and you really have a relationship with God and you meet somebody, you talk to God about it, you say, God, what do you think about this person, boy? You know, you have a fellowship with the Holy Spirit and you get to know the person, you connect with the person. I think it's important for you to be a whole person. I'm tired saying this. For you to be, to be healed from certain issues, things in the past. Um, if you're a woman and you're dealing with a lot of insecurities, that's something. It don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect. But if it's affecting your life, I would suggest you sort that out before, right? Because that could really mess up a relationship. If you're not trusting of men because of your past
All right.
relationship.
Unika, I don't mean to cut you, right? That's a good point you're making. So I want to rephrase the statement, right? How somebody would be ready to have a good relationship? Because many times when they say you're not ready, sometimes immediately people take it as an attack, and they don't realize, like when you say like maybe insecurity,
Yeah.
people don't see that that is actually what going on destroy your relationship when you meet somebody, because
Right.
a man might want nobody just crying every minute when this. So you might
Right.
actually meet a great guy, and every time the guy line with you and they're talking, he gets start to cry, and the man might be like, why do, and eventually he go just you
Yeah.
kind of distance himself a little bit now. So that's a
Yeah.
good way to
Right.
rephrase it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So not being ready or being ready could be the difference between a healthy or unhealthy relationship. Because you could get
Right.
in a relationship and you're arguing and you think some days good, some days bad. One week all they talking, next week all they talking. If that's what you want for a relationship, well. But if you want a healthy relationship, there are things that will hinder that in your personality. If you have a trust issue because of what you experienced in the past, your boyfriend cheat on you, and you're going into a relationship with somebody and you still have that in the back of your mind, that is going to hinder your relationship because you could probably run a really good man who love you because of your past experiences, right? And so I would say the person really needs to be in that place, not of perfection, but where you recognize, you become self-aware. You see, being self-aware, it is very, very important. So you could actually say to yourself, I know I have a problem with anger. I have a problem with anger. And so you're going into a relationship knowing that this is something I need healing from. God really needs to heal. If you still getting angry and coughing your wall home, right?
Yeah.
If when you remind yourself you're coughing your wall, if that's your way of releasing anger, I would say deal with that before you go into a relationship, right? So there are many different things that people, I would say, would cause their relationship to be unhealthy. And they should just relax and work on them first, right? But it could be many things, Kyle. But I think the major ones that affect people would be anger issues, mistrust, you see, insecurity, boy, with women, especially if it's deep, especially a woman who cannot see herself as beautiful no matter what you tell her, no matter what the mirror tell her, that could really mess you up. Because if you see your boyfriend talking to somebody you consider attractive,
Hmm.
right, in your world, you crying. All he doing is talking to somebody, right? And you think what you find she nice, you find she better looking than me, and that's a real thing, huh?
Yeah.
So certain types of insecurities would really hinder both on the man side as well, because men can be very insecure as well,
Yeah. Sure.
um,
Right.
in that area.
Especially if
So
if I get attractive and maybe a little outgoing, that could be
yeah,
a torment for a girl if it is, because a
from
man might feel a weird way already. And then if worse yet if the girl maybe she's not flirting but she talking to other people because she may be a little more friendly or something. I
yeah,
find that's weird when men they know their girlfriend good looking, but they have a problem with other people talking to them. It's like, oh, they don't think other people go talk find your wife attractive or your girlfriend attractive or whatever the case may be. I doesn't understand how
yeah,
people could, you know, it's I don't know. That
yeah.
actually people is actually not married, be in a relationship with beautiful people in the outward in that kind of way because of those reasons,
So, but
because
so, yeah,
they,
you
they
want that
can't
headache.
deal with
I
that.
can't do
Yeah,
that.
you don't want
Yeah.
that headache. Yeah.
Lust is another big thing. I didn't mention lust, but I mean, there are a lot of reasons, but lust is certainly something you should not. I could
All right,
tell
so
you,
Monica,
you're not
where's
a
three
good.
things for fellas and three things for girls? That's it. These three things, check yourself. Obviously, it's not all, but where's three things for girls and three things for
Right.
fellas?
Color, lust, lust, anger, uh, insecurity, right? Lust, anger, insecurity, because those seem to be,
Right.
controlling. Woman, insecurity, lust too. Lust is a big, men and women deal with lust. And what would be
Mhm.
a third thing for a woman? You come up with the third one, Kyle. Insecurity, lust. You know what could be a hindrance too, boy? You see a lot of women looking for love. They want this
I'm
love.
not
They
gonna
want this
say
kind
I'm
of
not say
structured love.
clinginess. I'm gonna
Yeah,
say that
I
clinginess
tell you,
thing. That
love.
that kind of.
Yeah, so they're looking for this kind of whirlwind romance, and the man become everything. You see a woman who willing to make a man everything, like they drop their whole life and now this man is it. Drop their friends, they found love, and the man they become consumed with this human being. That's a bad sign. If you're looking for that kind of toxic, clingy kind of relationship, yes. And women tend to be like that. Women tend to be like that. You become my world. You're my world. Yeah? Let's make
Hmm.
Jesus your world first. Make sure Jesus is your world.
Make sure Jesus is your will, right, Mark?
But I was just thinking, what does it gain a man to profit a man to gain the whole world? But that's something I used to want, before in the past and thing, and it's kind of helped me in that area.
You're welcome, Eva.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
meant to
wanted
be
to get clingy on him. Yeah, that's what you wanted, Unika.
meant
Huh?
to be clingy, but I know to me I know more women that like that. More
Yeah,
clingy.
it's true.
And I
Yeah.
feel
It's true.
like
It's
I had
true.
those pregnancies in the past, but the Lord has since delivered me.
You think?
Amen.
Yeah, I feel so.
You think so?
If I like a doubtful, like a little doubtful,
Doubtful and what?
it's
No,
what you meant.
he pretending. He think he had those tendencies, but he and I both know he had those tendencies.
And you came to
You talking now?
Oh gosh. Hey, let me hear some questions, Ole. Let me ask some questions and let me get into this thing a little more. We waited for some a message the guest. The guest didn't respond. Maybe you could try Unika to message the guest and see if the guest would respond or something on the live, and we want to get them on the live because it's time to get us going into in the situation. People commenting. Maybe you can read one or two comments right at the end, Eva, by the time. Well, let me hear some questions, guys. Maybe you all would like to know our friend. Eva, say make a good statement. Our friend, maybe, and also to like the stream. It's over 40 something people watching. There's only 30 people like the stream. Well, they do all the thing, man. Go ahead, Eva. Maybe you can read
Right?
one or two
So
questions.
just going piggybacking on what Kyle said, remember to like guys and comment, and we want to increase that interaction. All right. So if anything in here you find it funny, you like it, whatever the case is, just click on those little emojis. All right. I'm going to get into some comments, just a few, and I want to remind you all. Go ahead and ask your questions. All right. So maybe when I get to the end of these comments, we have some questions in. Let me see what we have here. I'm not going back to when Mark was digging that hole. Everybody was just enjoying Mark in that moment. Get some relaxing in there. Let me see. Lester says, Lester, remember Lester from last week? I think so. Well, from the last show, I should say.
Yeah.
Lester, good night to you. Welcome back to the show. Lester says, most of the time, some people don't believe with what happened to them in the past and carry it over into their new relationship, which causes many problems. Is true. So that's baggage, right? Ayana says it has people that do those that do. It has people that do those that do. I'm not too sure what I am saying there. It's clearly something from when we were talking any other. There will always be someone better looking than you. Is true. So yeah, to deal with those insecurities, right? Mila says insecurities can ruin a great relationship. Naomi says love in all the wrong places. Justina, insecurities is a cancer. So before you married, you need to take care of whatever baggage you have before you start another relationship. Um, Risa Mark, financial independence. Aniala says men could be clingy too. Yeah, Aniala, we talked about that just now. It's true. Katie, that stems from attachment issues. Lester added, that's why. Oh gosh, where did Lester come in? That's why I just always say communication is the key to every relationship, being open and honest with each other. Um, I don't know. Say it looks like Mark. It looks If looks can kill, Mark died plenty times tonight. Oh gosh, I am. Why I say
Mm.
that? Oh brother, Risa, good friend Kyle is true. Kyle was a good friend then, and he's still a good friend now. I praise the Lord for Kyle.
Yeah.
Ray Nathaniel, and y'all, okay, she's responding to something that Eniala mentioned. He proposed within 7 months, and we were married 2 days short of 1 year anniversary. And we are going on 5 years this year. So you see, guys, 7 months could work. But you have to know what you're doing, right? Know what you're gaining too. Because I am in like just know going through certain things in life, I realized like in the process of being engaged and planning a wedding, planning where you're gonna live and stuff like that, that's it brings in a whole completely
Yeah.
different life from the courtship. Like yeah, you're still courting, but somehow that engagement, that time when you engage,
Yeah.
it's like okay, it just get real. Like everything just get real. I'm talking about living, we're talking about finances, we're talking about something I just called just planning a wedding on the whole. And in that process, you begin to see certain things in the person sees certain things in you, how you deal with stress, how you work with each other, and a lot of things comes out in that process. It's crazy. And like even with Mark and I, we were courting for
Yeah.
I
Six
don't
years
know.
something when we started to prepare for marriage.
I don't know, I can't remember. But and in that period, that 1 year, we got engaged in September of 1 year, September of 2019, and got married in December 2020. And that was a little over a year. And I saw things in Mark that I never saw before, and I'm sure it's the same on it's vice versa, you know. It really brings out a different thing. So, and I think that's kind of one of the questions somebody asked that I highlighted here, which I would ask Sneaks after, because Sneaks mentioned it. The person asks, believe you me, getting to know someone is key, but do you ever get to know someone? So, yes, of course, when you get to that stage of marriage, you get to know even more things because you're in an even more intimate setting, you're spending even more time with the person and so on. But I believe that that transition from just courting and then going into that period
Yeah.
of being engaged, you see a lot of things in the person as well. Carrie says many people are raised in a harsh environment, and only when they start a family, then they display the scars from their past. That's true. Justina, true to close for comfort. Ayana, how soon into a relationship should you discuss finances and debts? All right, so we have two questions there. Nick, Kyle, Mark. Let me see if there are any other comments. All right, yeah. So we have
Hmm.
two questions here, Nick. So this kind of Nick is going off of what you said earlier. Basically, do you ever really get to know someone? So it says again, believe you me, getting to know someone is key. But do you ever get to know someone? And the other question I have here, how soon into a relationship should you discuss finances and debt? I see another one coming up here, but we'll get to that after. So Kyle needs you okay good with that one.
Okay.
Over
The first one was um. Oh, if you
do
could
you
ever really get to know
know
somebody.
somebody here?
Yeah. So, boy, I still discovering me. I still getting to know me. It's still a, it's still
Amen.
a aspect of my, it's still an aspect of
Amen.
my life and personality that still, you know, I discovered me. Because we change, we go through seasons, and life is not always the same. It's not like one flat level plane. You have seasons, you have trials, you have there are things that you just can't anticipate. Like you don't know as a woman, when you get pregnant, everybody handles that differently. Everybody, your emotions and different things, your hormones act up, all kind of different things. So life has stages, and you cannot always anticipate what your reaction would be in every situation. What I do know, though, is from a spiritual standpoint, I know that God has given me temperance, right? I have self control, I have the fruits of the Spirit because I have God in me. But still, there are things that come at you that, because, like, or sudden loss of a job, sickness, things like pregnancy, a first baby, when not everybody could deal well with sleeplessness, not everybody could deal with sleeplessness. Some people, you start to see a side of them you never knew existed when a baby cried, right? So, to be fair, you may not necessarily could ever say that you know everything about somebody and how they will react in situations, but love is able to cover those things, right? If you see your wife pregnant and she belly big and she crying or she grumpy or she saying you will get vexed, you'll say, but girl, I never knew you were so. You have to be mad to get vexed with her. You carry the child for 9 months in your belly now. Yeah, you take the back pain and the swell up foot and the swell up nose and the high blood pressure and all the things that's come with pregnancy. You take it as the. So love is able to accommodate all these things that might happen during life's journey. Yeah. So love, the Bible says love covers a multitude of sin.
Amen.
So
What's the other
yeah.
question?
Few questions. I have a few
Right.
questions on this list, right? So I'll
Okay.
read all the questions that I'm seeing with regard to finances. So you all touch on everything, right? So we have Ayana is asking, how soon into a relationship should you discuss finances and debt? I'm going to read the other questions, all right? Lisa Medford says, can you all touch a bit on finances in a relationship that Max suggested earlier? And Ayana also added, in regards to finances, just as with the prenuptial conversation, wealth is shared. So is debt also shared? Which that's a good one.
Yeah.
I think that's what I saw so far on finances. So y'all can go ahead with that.
Well, I mean, I think you must know when you're coming up. I don't think it's a shock to any couple.
Yeah.
um Engagement is not shouldn't really be a shock. Like, you should have been talking about it. You should have been talking about marriage, talking about having a life together, you know what I mean? So you must kind of have a sense of when, okay, this relationship is going somewhere. This, I could see us building our life together, and you get into that stage. I think the finances thing is supposed to come up at that point. You kind of naturally talk about stuff because you start talking about a house, you start talking about places. I remember Kevin and I used to when we were courting, we used to go and drive around the areas that we liked, like, and all the areas was like the richest areas in Trinidad. And so, okay, so this house, our house would look like this, and our house would, would look like that. You know what I mean? So
That,
obviously, if I was that Mark?
I said that's nice.
So obviously, if I driving around in a car with a man and we looking at houses and what we could do and what we could take, and we like this color and stuff, we know we going some. You know what I mean? I not just, we ain't playing games. We going somewhere, right? We may not engage us. We going somewhere, and so these things, I think they should naturally come up if you start thinking that way and you start thinking about our life together. Um, I think transparency in the financial matters is very important, especially if you come in with some big debt, right? So I think at that stage, again, it's hard to say. It's hard to say a year. What happened? What happened there, Mark?
I think something kind of light, something drop. Yeah.
I missed that totally.
Yeah.
I did not miss.
Yeah.
I see Mark's face, and that would make me know something was up. Mark, yeah. That's how I know.
I know. Go ahead, yeah, go ahead. Don't study my malfunctions here.
I'll stick it there. Yeah. So I think certainly for sure, of a surety, when you all get engaged, that should be discussed one time. I think you need to lay the cards on the table. If you have a $500,000 debt that you expecting the man to take care of, or vice versa, or whatever, I think finances need to be discussed at that point um, of engagement, because you're working towards marriage now. But it could come up before, depending on how the relationship going.
Well,
Yeah, but
to make it a little bit with that question, Onika, because the person asks like how soon, however the case may be, somebody could ask that question. Sometimes people might rush in and just 2 months dating and we're gonna with your money, and it could come across in a kind of weird way, or somebody could be robbed.
I think it's when you all start to realize, after a while you're in a proper relationship and you realize you all want to build a life together. Otherwise, that don't want to come. What you asking me my business for? That's how I will look at it, right?
Right.
Until I show, well, this is going to be my husband, kind of thing. So, yeah, don't bring up that before. And listen, well, it takes some advice from a fairly senior person, right? Take
Senior,
some advice.
not fairly senior. Go ahead.
Fairly senior, right? Do not buy things together when all in a relationship. Don't share the car. Don't buy a car together and you paying half and he paying half. Or they have no idea how much people I counsel going through the headache of who gonna pay for the car now, because they buy together and they thought it was happily ever after when they was going around. And they get assets together and sharing, find debt while they courting. And listen, many people broke up with sharing assets, and it was a bacchanal.
If
To,
they
Well,
had a prenup,
well,
that's what would have served them.
not married. Here, this one. I have a friend. She was going to get a car, and her boyfriend said, "I will pay the loan. You take out the loan, and I will pay the loan for you." I say, "Please do not do that. If you know you cannot pay the loan, do not take out no loan to buy no car." Guess what? They're no longer together today. Who's paying the loan? You think he's still paying the loan while he's with another
the,
lady?
the car to
No.
go back. The car to get
correct.
repossessed. So you gonna do?
No,
It's
I
them
encountered
both.
many people in that situation. One of them left with the debt, and it's always one of the parties end up with the whole debt. So my advice: don't get in financial, don't tie up yourself financially with anybody that you're just in a casual relationship with. Even if you know what I mean, everybody think they're gonna make it. Leave that for when things get more serious. You're engaged, you start to put things in place financially and stuff, not before. That is
Indeed.
pressure. Although,
What
Kevin
happened to
and
them?
Kevin and
Now,
I did share a credit card when we were dating, but
yeah,
yeah.
because me and Eva was tied up even before we was married.
Yeah, I had a credit card.
What happened to you, eh?
Hey, Mama, what is your problem?
No, I whisper to him and I say, I make those mistakes. Now he's talking.
Yeah, but let's take it up for over 6 years. Come down, man.
Yeah.
Or they just didn't know when it's the right time to maybe get married. It's not like it's not that issue, like
No,
where it wasn't seeing themselves together.
I think for us we were I think it's like we knew we would get married eventually. Well, obviously, as Nick say, everybody think they're gonna get married,
Yeah.
but I guess we just wasn't ready to actually be married to some extent until we
Yeah.
reached a certain stage and we felt like, well, okay, yeah. I think it's for different reasons, like especially as an individual, um, reaching a certain stage, whether it be financially or as a person, like just as a individual, like developing yourself individually
Yeah.
before you actually become joined with another person. There was something here I wanted to touch on. Well, I guess Nisa touched on that with regards to that because she asked if the question was seeing that assets are shared, should that be shared as well in a marriage? And there was somebody who asked about us talking about marriage. I think it was something Medford. I don't remember the first name, but I think what that person wanted to get is something more along the lines of if you're actually married, like how do you handle finances with regards to, because that's what Mark
Yeah.
mentioned, and she asked for that. Whether you have joint accounts or you have one joint account and then separate accounts and that type of thing.
Maybe a married person could answer that.
I think I
Yeah.
said the debt. I think the debt should be shared as well. It's not shared. If the house shared and in debt, but it should not be a surprise. So there should be transparency before. You can't come after the honeymoon and say, honey, I have something to tell you. They have something to tell you. I know we living in the house, my house, but they coming to repossess it next week. So we had to come up with $200,000. That is
We
wickedness.
get we get an echo from your mic, Mark and
Yeah.
Eva.
If you get you said
I don't know. I think it's however, I don't know where you're coming from. Yeah,
right,
but
it's
we
going on.
we'll meet you other for now on when we want to talk that's on meters, I
It's
guess.
unmuted.
But try and
Yeah.
fix it, maybe low down your volume or some kind of thing. Y'all what y'all maybe need moving is a little headset in your ears or something, because seeing it's both of y'all or whatever. You go ahead, Onika.
Yeah. So the debt, there should be transparency where the debt is concerned before marriage. And it should be agreed by both parties how this debt is going to be handled. It should not be
Right.
a surprise, right? And then there was another part of the question. The person asked
Well, like with
about
share account and them kind of stuff like that.
right. I think that's a matter of the preference of the couple. There's no right or wrong for that. So you all as a couple could come together and say, okay, here what? Let's have one joint account, but you have your account, I have my account. You know what I mean? I think the two parties, I mean, it should be adults and mature enough to come together and say, okay, you are the one who handling finances. You good at it. You thrifty. You could you go ahead and handle the bills, whatever. We have a. I don't think that should be a fixed thing where we have to have this and we should have that. The couple should come together and decide how they're gonna move forward with that. I don't think
Well,
it should be.
especially if people, I guess a practical thing to be with that is like somebody who's bad spend money.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
people would, people might want to have, like maybe a man might say, give your wife a credit card, and that is all the money. She could, once that max it max, you know what I mean? And he could be cool and vice versa.
right.
A woman might want to separate her finances from her husband, like for gambling, whatever. Because people married, they get in a relationship and certain issues might come up, and you don't know your husband, just spend money, you know what I mean? And
Yeah,
yeah, man, like every time you go in Best Buy, you buy a big TV, you do this, and it could
right.
be an issue, you know what I mean?
Yeah, or you come with some crazy investment. Hey, honey, I get a good opportunity, girl. And I will I take you 200,000 we had in the account there, and I say, don't worry. And you're like, what? So,
So that's something I really had as a woman. I'll say from maybe a woman's perspective for a man, that could be something a man could be real ignorant about in a relationship. He could feel like, well, they're trying to control me, you're trying to, and you had to know the person who you're with, Brez, because for you to say that and say, well, watch me now, I can't get all this, my man could trip and he could have real issues in the marriage because of that. He could feel like, so I can't go on. Like, it depends. A man might be able to take that as easy as maybe as a woman might be able to. A woman could give a man some headache too, right? She could get emotional and crying and you don't love me and this is and that kind of way and it could be bad on both. So mhm.
I think if you want so much financial independence, then become financially independent. You know what I mean? Make sure you're earning what you want to spend. If it is your husband being stingy or vice versa, what wrong with you going out and you know what I mean? If you find it's not enough, make extra for the home, whatever it is. But you don't sit down and cry and say, well, I want more. Well, you know what I mean? So yeah.
I don't know if that answer a question. We had any other question along that line, Eva? Remember you muted, so you had to maybe unmute or something. Actually, you're not muted right now. Go ahead.
I don't think I think saw anything else along those lines. I think that should answer the questions. I didn't see any other questions so far. I'm browsing through. So Kyle, if you had any questions from before, you can go ahead.
So let them cry. I like to hear you talk, Marlon. I like that. I like when Marlon talk. I like that.
Marlon said, let them cry.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true.
If you big man thingy talking, yeah, big man thingy talking, yeah. Oh gosh, people say thanks for asking. I love to be independent, work for my own money, and stuff. Anyhow, yes. So it's interesting that I guess money obviously is a big thing in a marriage. That it have caused a lot of issues and situations could arise because of that, right? Because a simple thing like when you have your child, you want to go private hospital, Eva?
Just today we were having this discussion because we had a little drive by the maternity ward and I looked up at it and I said, Mark, you really want me to come here and make a child boy? Because Mark's thing is if there's any complication at the end of the day, I'm still gonna end up in the general hospital now. But I just watching it and I see in this place depressing, boy. It's you're already there for something that's not good, more than likely, depending like sickness. I thinking along the lines of sickness. And then just the condition of the whole place is depressing and yell off. And I say I can't do that. I can't go down that road, boy.
Take care of the doctor, that's all. In private, take care of the doctor.
I don't know.
I
I'm fine. I said that's where I'm born.
But things wasn't fine growing up, Mark. So let's say things fine.
No, I mean I'm alive.
He born there and it was out too. You know?
Anyhow,
No, the guest's not coming on. People asking, the guest's not coming on.
yeah, I don't know what this happened. Cool, when answering that question, you see, it's a man still the head of the home. Maybe I would like to hear the women answer that question. I would like to ask you, when you hear that statement, what I mean to you.
Yeah.
All the women online too. I would like to hear that for the women online too, like any other married and all these different things. I want to hear the people when they answer yes or no. Why is that? So you
Yeah,
good?
yeah, that is true.
Yeah, because it's easy to just say yes. The Bible says so, but I would like to hear why for you. Maybe Coon is your head, and maybe Eva is the Mark is your head. I don't know. Let me hear you.
Yeah. Who you asking?
Both of y'all. You want it, Eva and Mark? The same
Oh,
Why?
question you asked. So not Eva. Sorry, Eva and Monica.
Yes, of course. Kevin is the head of my home.
But why is
Yes.
that? So why is that still so? Like why would you say that? How could you say the man is still the head? Like what that means, what that entails to you?
Well, I allow him to lead.
She allow him to lead on you. Oh
No,
gosh.
yeah, I follow the Bible. I'm a child of God. I am obedient to what God says, and God put things in that order, not me. I'm not the one who came up with that system. It's not just so you don't just wake up and say, okay, you're a man, you heading home. No, I am following God's instructions, God's way and his intention for marriage, and he's the one that set the order, and I'm following it. I can't go no other way. This is what God said. That's my point of reference then. You understand? Yes, I grew up in a home, I had a mother and father, and I saw that as well. So I saw the example of my father being the head. But I'm following God. And so it's a natural thing. It's a natural thing for me. It's,
A natural thing for you, and we're
yes,
cool.
still,
yeah,
still,
yeah.
still, I'm not saying that as in a 20 years of marriage at head though, but sometimes, I'm not saying that.
Thank God you's not the head.
I'm certainly, listen, somebody needs to
Okay,
come
see that foot.
on.
Good, good.
I have never objected, or there have been times where I might have questioned his advice or authority, but still doesn't mean that I don't believe that he's the head, and I've been wrong most of the times. So I learned over the years, but yeah, that's just the way. That's just it's natural for me. I've been honest. Now, I'm not saying I do always submit. I'm not saying I'm the perfect wife, but the way the order of things is a natural thing. I mean, you don't question it. It's what it is. That's why I make sure
Okay.
I marry a real man of God, a strong man. Listen, if I gonna put you as my head over me and my children, I making sure you listen. You're up there. You're up there. So you can't just marry anybody. If you're gonna marry somebody and put that person as your head, listen, ladies, make sure you put a good head on your shoulders, okay? Because your life could be pretty miserable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You
Huh?
know, I see
and just use your head wisely.
I see
Yes.
Leslie actually take the words out of my mouth. She said Adam was created before Eve. You know,
Yes.
people don't understand in creation there's actually a divine thing that happened, and they could rebel and they could say, "Oh, can I take a word?" But
Yes.
by the end of the day, the man come first, and woman came through men. God didn't sit down and make an next woman like out of the he take from the man, and there's an order that happen, and it's sad to say, but I just the way, all right. What do you other want to the other way? The woman is at the end of the day, somebody would have to be the first secretary. Something would have to happen, and it had some kind of structure and order. But let me hear you, Eva.
Okay, I'm gonna read some of the
No, no, no,
comments
no,
here
no, no,
because
no, 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 no,
no,
Eva,
I'm
no, no,
not
no, no.
alone. No, I know. I just want to because I want to read comments so they don't get lost as easy because they're right here. No, for real, for real.
Darling, go ahead and take on Karen.
Yes, yes, husband is the head. I love having a head. I trust my husband with so many things. I don't want to be the head. God is wise. Justina says I respect my husband as the head. That is how God expects it to be. Let me see. I think it had something else there. But like I said, it's easier when it's all I think that was it. For me personally, it didn't come naturally to have I think I still obviously in this stage of life 1 year, I still working on being led, if I can say so. But I do see the importance of it and I understand why God designed it that way. I could honor that and I could respect that. To be quite honest, as time goes by, I have an appreciation for it. Um, I think sometimes when people hear the man being the head of the home, they just automatically assume certain things with regards to responsibility. And I don't think it only speaks of responsibility, it speaks of something spiritual as well, right? Yes, it involves responsibility, but at the same time, it doesn't mean that okay, because the man is the head of the home, the man has to handle everything with regards to finances, and the man has to say this is how certain things go. And I think that's how a lot of women perceive it, and that's why they have issues with submission. So for me, personally, I think I could be very independent and very okay. I want things this way, and I had to do this, and I'm very particular as well. So it's very hard for me to adapt to that being really truly being led. But I like it. I don't like it all the time, but I like it. Because to be quite honest, as time goes by, I realize like even with the tiniest decisions, I will call Mark and I'll be like, okay, so going on, and I genuinely want his input. I genuinely want to hear what he has to say. And personally, I believe that he always helps me. Like, okay, so this real petty, right? But I was buying curtains and I went with mommy. I went with a friend of mine, and I say, you know what? And I am very indecisive, guys. Like as indecisive gets, that's this is it here, right? And I said to myself, you know what, I'm gonna leave this place. Now the woman working in the store, eventually she knew who I was because I went there so many times with so many different people that she recognized me from every time I walk in. And I finally went with Mark, and somehow when I do things with Mark, it's just easy. If that make any sense, it's just easy, and it's not like there's a fight or a debate or anything. But I think part of it is me trusting him. And this is obviously a very small thing, right? It's just me truly trusting him, and um how to say it, and really following his lead. So it have major things as well that we would have done that I started. Okay, for example, a big investment that we will have to make. And there was a point in time where I felt like, I'm not really feeling to do this again. And Mark was saying, no, I believe we should go through with it and fight. And he was more the person going for it. And I kind of went along with him because he was the one saying it. I'm not saying that you just go with what one person is saying, but I see the importance of it now and I see the reward of it now. So sometimes in the moment it's hard. And then, like I said earlier, I think a lot of women tend to see being led and having to submit as a bad thing, but I really believe truly is a blessing, especially considering your husband, he truly is the head of the home. And there's a way in the way is like a hierarchy. Then you see God, and then you see your husband, and then so it
We'll
really
say
goes
that, girl. We'll say that.
Yeah.
it's
Hierarchy,
like
the feminists gonna come out for hierarchy in the home.
so for me personally, I could see how the old Ava would have been like, head of the home, like that kind of thing. But I honestly, I enjoy it. I enjoy it. Yes, it is a challenge. I'm not saying it happens like that. It is a challenge, especially in the heat of something where you really have two sides to something, opposing views. But I truly believe that it is a blessing, and I enjoy it. I really do enjoy it. And it's kind of nice too, like the big decisions. She's the one, so like if anything happen, I say, well, you see it anymore. It's pretty blame on them now. So it's a win-win situation.
All right, Eve. She ready to blame you, why Marco? Anyhow, when you're just thinking about it, you realize, when you think about good character in other words, right? I don't think God wants to meddle in everybody in a relationship. I mean, and naturally, He don't do that in your own personal life. He's trying to lead you and try to help you. So far
Yeah.
less now when there's two people. And I think God designed things in a certain way where He would, reach out to the man. He would try to, He had the whole man. There's certain orders. He put things in place because He also respect both people in their own decision making in their own life. Because a couple can make a bad decision and God will still respect it. You catch where I'm coming from, right? God, it's like you see that throughout the entire Bible with Abraham and his wife and all kind of. God didn't intervene when Abraham went and make his stupid decision. When both of them say, "Well, all right, cool, go and sleep with the woman," and God didn't. You understand where I'm coming from, right? Two people could still make the decision because at the end of the day, God not trying to control nobody. But like we rightfully say, there's certain decisions and different things we see that come with it. You know what I mean? So, how you going, Unika? You okay? I see a mute and you're talking and yeah. We want to say, Mark?
I was just gonna say something I noticed since I get married is the way God, like I would dream stuff in a different way now. So like
Mhm.
things, major issues that going on in my life with me and Ava, major things that we had to do or we dealing with, God will speak to me in different way and especially through dreams as well. And God would actually sometimes give me instructions and show me um what is his will then in major is things that we dealing with. So what I realize is as the man being the head at the home, it's not that my wife inferior to me. It's just the way that God working, right? Because God is the head to me. But I realize as a man, as you have that responsibility, God will actually give you instruction and give you certain prompting in your spirit. If you're really open to God in that way, He's gonna lead you with decisions and He's gonna put that responsibility on you now to really listen to Him and bring what you feel like God's saying to your wife. And even in my life and thing too, I will be honest, God does be correcting me and thing with things in my life that I need to do, things I need to change that will make the marriage go better. So I would say as a man being ahead is something that God does be working with the man too to try to bring out the best way for the family, to try to bless the
Well,
wife, the children when that time comes, etc.
and it's just order to it, guys, because you can actually see even in the ungodly marriages that a woman might be even a Christian woman, she might be love the Lord and all those, and maybe the man is an unbeliever. Do you know God can still speak to the man and give him insight? And well, He does because God's speaking to all of us, right? He's trying to connect to all of us, right? And a man could see something. It's just something built into how it's like almost an office he take up. Like he's a father, he's a husband. There's something he have, and God is he's almost got insight into certain things. It's the exact same I can tell you all. My mother was no believer when I was younger, but I remember she tell me do go to a party, or do go somewhere, and that is the first time I ever get robbed in my life in a big way. And you know, it's had nothing to do with God and had nothing, in that kind of way. Now, the people say, I believe. No, God could give people insights and say, and they could get a feeling. They could just get a sense of a feeling. And they could say, "Now, don't go here." And you fast with yourself, trying to rebel on different things. And then you end up reaping the consequence of it. So it's sometimes more people must understand as a order. Obviously, I'm not saying to, if you have a mother or a father who is not believers, that everything they say correct. But believe it or not, they still get insight into your own life that you would be not too aware of. You might think, well, it's only God could talk to me, and that is not the case. God would speak to your parents and different things to help you. Yeah, right, Monica. Monica seems so distracted and so
I'm
so
okay,
much things happening.
people,
But
yeah, I don't know what, yeah.
I
But
know,
I'm
I know,
fine. I'm fine.
I know, I'm seeing shadows in the house moving on you right now. So I don't know why they're trying to hide. I don't know what is going on here right now. But we seeing Iowa and Shadow and all of them rocking around by you.
Who are these shadows you're seeing? It's supposed to be a mystery guest, but they're running.
Oh, they're
They're running.
running. So already
Yeah.
the guest is here, but it's a guy. In case you don't know, but you panicking. But what you gonna do? You can stay single forever if you want to.
Yeah.
I joking. I joking. I joking.
They were not having that, eh? Nah, he's a good man. He's nothing to gun have a woman in the morning.
Right. Anyhow,
The
well,
question here,
uh-huh.
Ayana's asking, do you think every couple should do I think she's
Hmm.
saying counseling, but
Okay.
something is missing, I assuming. But I believe she's asking, do you think every couple should do premarital counseling before marriage?
Of course. Very important. Because basically you're going into something you have no clue about. Of course. When you buy a car without learning to drive, when you try to fly a plane without knowing how, or you could just go and get married just so. Yes. Yes. You should get counseling and you should also get advice from married people. Yes. Yeah.
I have to go premarital counseling soon by Unika Narayan and Pastor
If you
Karen
want,
Narayan.
I could talk to you right now. I could give I would talk to your fiance.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, yeah. Anyhow,
Yeah, premarital counseling is very important because there are a lot of things that you would your eyes would be open to a lot of things that you really cannot anticipate because you've never been married. So it's a great thing that everybody should do.
mhm.
Yeah.
Anything else? It's like after 9. Sorry to
Yeah.
say the guests panic out. So
I'm not seeing any other questions. You used to go to a party. Alice, let's say you used to go to a party, Pastor.
if I
I
used to
think
go to a party,
Me?
yeah,
me or you?
I didn't talk about you any mother tell
when
them
your
don't go.
when your mom told you don't go
She
to the
said you used to
party.
go party, Pastor.
Yeah,
Not say
plenty. There's me. Is me she talking about? Yeah. I
Oh,
had a very bad life before Alistair. Sorry to say. My life was that's why I needed the Lord help me and he saved me today. The person you know today is a total you wouldn't believe who's the person some years ago. If you met him, you Mark hated me. That's a lie, you know. Mark hated me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Eh? I felt like Jesus then. That's why I started to relate to Jesus. They hated me without a cause. That's why
Yeah.
without a cause usually.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. No, it's a real thing with Mark though. I just cuss Mark.
Yeah.
But I that's why he ended up hating me. I hit him a cuss, and but it wasn't. It to me, I just talking and cussing, but he take it personal. He thought I really cussing him that kind of way, and he hated me from since that day. You know, he didn't like me at all. Yeah, and hence the reason, you know. And the
Just had
Lord,
a kind of bold way about him when it came to certain things. And I felt like I couldn't fight him. So I just had to resort to him.
I think we have any more questions. I kind of tried to scroll through, but I don't think there's anything that I missed so far
and
yet. The only
Alice.
question I see here is what happened. What happened to the guests? And well, basically the guests get cold feet, guys. So yeah,
Chloe asked a question too, but I don't know where you're going with that question. Sarah called Abraham Lord. What does that mean?
well, I need to start. You need to call him Lord, Unika, and you need to call Eva. You need to
Yeah,
call
I
Mark
don't
Lord.
know where you're going with that question, but the question is,
Just
what
call.
does
You
that
need to.
happening. Lisa Medford have a question.
So much for him being ahead. Anyhow, go ahead.
Am I
Hello,
here?
yeah. Yeah,
yeah?
you
Can
here?
you hear me?
We hear you, Eva. Oh, they're not here. All right. Advice on dealing with. Let me mute them because they might say something. And Unika.
Yes.
Oh, I feel it's the internet. But maybe I could answer the question. Advice on dealing with arguments, disagreements in our marriage.
Um, yeah, always have conflict in life, right? Once you're close to
Mhm.
somebody, there will be times where you have conflict. So having an argument or disagreement is nothing is wrong with that. But I think how you resolve the conflict is very important. It is very important when you have an argument or conflict with your spouse that you don't form judgments about the person before. You have preconceived, you already in your mind, you have already decided why they did what they did, and you already and you feel in a certain way, and nobody can your spouse trying to tell you, I never meant that. That's not what I meant. I never meant you to feel that way. But because you judge them already and you assume this was what they wanted to how they wanted to make me feel, or you wanted to hurt me, or you have these preconceived things, and that is dangerous. So don't go into an argument with your preconceived judgments about why the person is doing what. And when you're listening, right, in an argument, listen and don't listen. Some people listen and their listening is just waiting for them to finish to say my piece. They're not actually paying attention to what the person is saying. They're not trying to understand what they're saying. They're just waiting for them to finish because that's a fair thing. Okay, well, me listen, I'm listening, right? And you're not hearing anything because you're just waiting for them to hush so you could say you did the right thing and you start, right? Bad way to resolve conflict, right? So have an open mind when a person is, listen to what they're saying. Do not judge them. Get rid of all your judgments, right? About the person and why they might be doing, and try to understand their point of view, and then you could, from there take it, and then and vice versa, of course. So it's important how you communicate with each other when you're arguing. Very important. Don't call each other names. Don't go down that nasty road. We're calling each other names, pulling each other down. That is unnecessary. Listen to the person's point of view. Try to understand where they're coming from. Try to resolve it, in a spirit of love. You can argue in a spirit of love, believe it or not. You can, without hurting and bringing the person down, without saying things,
Amen.
because we tend to, in an argument, um, yeah, because we want to win. People want to argue and they want to win. They want to, their thing. This is a successful argument if you finish and I win. And winning is not necessarily what the outcome should be. The outcome should be that I want to resolve. I want to see where this person is coming from. I want to know why they are saying this. I want to understand so that we could deal with the root. It's not for me to win an argument, right? And if it's win an argument you want to win, man, you could pull out some serious things to hurt the person. And that's not love, and that's not how you should resolve conflict in a marriage. You can pull out the big guns and start to say the hurtful things, hit them under the belt. You understand? So you're going wrong if that's what you're doing in an argument.
How do you fight or argue cleanly and or fairly in a relationship or marriage? I
And I
think
think I
Unika's
just
kind of
said that.
explaining that fairly, yeah, cleanly. And
I think I just said that. Yeah.
well, with some, you know what I mean, your argument, and I guess I'm not married, you know what I mean, so I don't know, you know what I mean. So maybe Mark and Eva could share on that, like arguments, and I don't know if they argue a lot or situations like that,
Mm,
Hmm.
I think with arguments, sometimes I think you kind of have to know your personality and know the other
Hmm.
person. I know for myself, I could be very defensive. I could be a fighter. So
True, true, true.
Mhm.
as time goes by, so you tend to learn things about yourself as well. So sometimes what I might try to do, depending on what the situation is, you might don't bother to respond immediately. I'm not saying you don't have to do sort out whatever the issue is or don't come to an agreement or whatever, but sometimes in the heat of the moment, you don't necessarily come to the person with love. You more go to the person from a place of defense, like I fighting for myself here, like there's a fight. And in a disagreement in marriage, I think that's the worst place to start off with. A fight commentating with the mindset of it being a fight, because it's gonna end up being a fight, let's be real. So I think one of the better things to do is sometimes you had to stop yourself, boy. Like had to stop yourself
Mhm.
and actually think, okay, so at the end of this, do I want that he go on so and I go on so and we vex with each other still, or do I truly want resolve? And I think that's really where love, compromise, and even sometimes sacrifice, and all the different things of marriage, that's where it really comes into play. Unconditional love, you truly have to love the person to go to the person now with a place of okay, and you have to be willing to hear the person out as well. I think sometimes we tend to put things on the person and we accuse the person of certain things when in reality sometimes that's not even where the person is coming from, because this is how you interpret it. But sometimes you have to allow the person to let you know, okay, this is what I really feeling, or this is what I really meant, this is what I was really trying to say. Sometimes we put things on the person and we say, and this is literally me speaking from experience, right? We say things like, this is what you were doing me, and this is, but it makes more sense for you to say, well, this is how it make me feel, or this is how it came across to me. So speak to the person from your point of view. Let them know how it came from to you, and then let them respond to that. I think so, to some extent that could definitely help instead of accusing, because obviously once you go into something accusing somebody, they're gonna want to defend themselves, and that goes both ways. So yeah, I think really approaching the situation with love and trying to be understanding. If you know your head hot, don't bother to go into anything at that point in time. That's just me personally. I will kind of wait it out a while and then try to have a mature and loving and what was and was the other word, a discussion and not an argument. Yeah, try to avoid arguments and try to do more discussions. Hopefully that makes sense.
Yeah, I guess that's important. But I guess when they get married and yeah, with somebody for a time, that sometimes this they're quick to just jump the gun. Like why do that? And
Yeah.
yeah,
That's why when we would have had arguments, I learned in all things. One of the fruit of the Holy Spirit, I believe, is self-control. And there were times that I felt so hurt or felt so angry that I felt to just say things in a certain way, and I feeling the Lord talking to me and say, if you say this way now, it's gonna cause hurt. And really the goal of marriage is for the two to become one. And arguments and different things just happen when there's a scenario or something going on that kind of taken away from your unity with each other, with your union. There's some kind of disruption, some kind of issue. And really when you're arguing, I just try to approach it from the point of we trying to discuss or argue out the situation with the end goal of us, the two of us becoming one. So
amen.
I try to take it from the angle of we talking about this scenario in and we talking about how we could deal with this so that we both could be one and not feel disconnected from each other or angry with each other. And it's really take long love and it does take long suffering sometimes. And it had times that I was mad in a situation and I just I say, I was supposed to get thing in the mall or something on the road, and I'd go out the road and thing and listen to some music and talk to God and come back fresh and approach it again.
You know, nothing wrong if you take a little time away and you come back
Yeah,
and you had the conversation.
sure.
What is make things bad is if it is you don't have the conversation, somebody could be
Yeah.
like, they could have a issue even if it take a time. Somebody had another question. I see it have a back and forth going on about why I don't want to say your husband is a Lord. But anyhow,
Hmm.
So we give an
next
explanation to
There's
why.
actually a few questions, but I was trying to reach while we were talking
I don't
there.
know what is this question, Naomi. I don't know if you need to
Yeah,
rewrite that
I'm
question,
like,
Naomi.
that's so
Guys,
nice.
we don't have much longer, but where's this question? If in after a year of a relationship and you don't hear, should you end the relationship? I guess if they don't hear from God or something, that what you mean? Huh?
I don't know now. I really don't know.
Probably a
And if
typo.
she's saying like after a year in a relationship, yeah, like if she do, and like maybe you're thinking, well, all right, I ain't hear from God if this is the person yet. If it's just any relationship, or it should continue. I don't know if that's the question. Naomi, if it is, you want to rephrase that, you go ahead.
Yeah, because there's another one here. Rashida Felix, can you discuss independence and dependency in marriage? I don't know if you all can probably discuss that quickly because I know
Independent from you.
time is dependency and independence in marriage.
I don't know how to approach that. I don't know.
Hmm.
That
Um,
depends on your relationship. That's
um,
people have their strengths, people, but I don't know if she meaning like dominant, that's something different. It's
I'm not sure
everybody has their
where she's
strengths.
coming from with it.
Independence and dependency.
Independence. I don't know if it probably mean. I don't know if she probably mean along the lines of, to
Wait.
some extent, you're still an individual.
Yeah, you should
I
never
don't
give up
know.
your individual self. You should never give up who you are.
I, I
Um,
I'm just assuming. I don't know if that's where
yeah.
she's coming
I
from.
don't know what aspect of dependency she means
Yeah,
either.
I think she need to. Yeah, I think I need to explain that. Like I don't know if it's financial. I don't know what you're thinking about. But obviously, I think when it comes to like dependency, or if you're being independent, when it comes to yourself, Unica, I would say obviously one of the biggest things you bring to your marriage is is yourself. You know what I mean? So obviously you had to be yourself and you be dependent upon you. You know, you had to show your strengths, the different things to bring into the marriage. But it's not necessarily being dependent on somebody because the two you're helping each other and
Yeah,
growing your
it's
own
not,
personal life.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. You kind of hit the nail on the head there. I mean, when you come into the marriage, it's one, it's an institute, it's a home. You're building a family together, so you depend on each other for certain things, and then in some areas you both have your independence. There would be times where you would depend on him and he depend on you, for certain to just to function in the home, certain, you know what I mean? So it's a give and take. A lot of marriages are
Yeah.
give and take, and you have to come to understanding and agreement as a couple how this thing gonna work. It's not just
Yeah.
vibes, not just vibes.
If you hear we as him talking about both individuals in a relationship moving forward, I still lost. Naomi, hear what to do, right? Rephrase that question totally. Forget you make a comment above and just rephrase the entire question itself. So that way we could, hold on. I think that might be the last question there, guys. I feel so.
Um, that's a-
I think she's talking to Cohen directly.
No.
Okay, because yeah, I'm not too sure. Still not too sure what the question. I don't know if she's talking about the person that she with, not referring to them as a couple. I honestly don't know what it is. Alistair Payne. If a person is sick, example HIV or cancer, one is a good time to tell the other person immediately. Why would you wait?
Immediately.
Yeah, every time many person you let them know up front, you can
Let me
let them
tell
know.
you something, eh? I think I shared this publicly already. The person don't mind me sharing it because it's not, I don't call the name. I know somebody who get married to somebody who had HIV and the pastor and then push the two of them to get married and the girl never tell the husband until her deathbed.
Wow.
Because they just find out she's sick and they rush in the hospital and he didn't get AIDS or any kind of thing like that. He remarried and everything right now and he move on with his life. He have a child today, but she never told the man and she purposely never told him because there was a situation where they was out on a date before they was married, and it had to be the Lord trying to talk to this man and her, and he remember it after. She saw the doctor who knew she used to go and check to see the doctor, and the doctor came into the restaurant where they were, and she run under the table and hide and run in the bathroom, and he find it was weird, but he never. I don't think he ever really asked a question like you just say you go on and whatever the case may be, But he remember that day as vivid that happened that day, and she brought it back up on the deathbed and say remember that day when maybe they had a conflict that day or something. She said that was the doctor and whatever the case may be, and so I think that is something, Onika, you had to tell the person.
Immediately.
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
what
Once you
amazing to me, you see how that man didn't get sick? He forever know that God really, That is what I get from that too.
I saw that Naomi. She said yes. Honestly, I can't remember what I said, but I think what I was saying is the person probably don't refer to both of them together. They probably just refer to themselves
Individually,
in
and they'll say
instances.
we.
I guess it kind
Oh,
of depends on the context. I don't know, but
yeah, if you're in a relationship with somebody 5 years, established relationship, and them still talking about it, they can even include you in our comment like we. I
I know.
question that immediately.
I'm wondering what she mean because sometimes females would read a little more into things than they
And
need
then
to. So I'm wondering what context she means by that. Like, but it will be hard to get that from her. But I mean, at the end of the day, depending on the situation, if you could see a clear, some, as I was gonna say that there was somebody who asked about green flags and red flags, earlier on. I think I missed that question.
We is not Baptist and thing. We don't put flag.
Yeah.
I'm joking. Only. I'm joking.
But yes, Naomi, I guess you kind of had to feel out the situation. Know if you read. Well, this is just me thinking, eh? Know if you're reading into it a little more than you need to. But I don't think you should be in a relationship with anybody and they don't ever refer to you or make reference to you or mention you in any form or even saying that they're in a relationship, acknowledge when talking to people that they're in a relationship. That's something off there, something wrong there. But please, I guess you would
Well,
know the context. Nick,
afraid
I
to
don't
say
know.
this situation that I know about recently that didn't work out and it was what it was, right? I don't know. I don't want to say what it was, but basically somebody, yeah, and the relationship didn't work out. They couldn't admit the feelings or some kind of thing, so and things they say, but upfront the scenario and you just know the situation, you move on with your life because you don't want to be sticking, wasting. And I want to tell you something. I kind of straightforward in a lot of things, and I understand why because of might be a bad thing, but for some people, but I pretty straightforward and I ask the questions, I see certain things because what's the point of sticking your whole life to find out certain things? You put yourself out there and you get hurt. If you get hurt, you get hurt. Yeah, I better get hurt in the first year than in 3 years when you invest your whole callaloo and everything and and the pepper boss in the pot. Hear this now. What about people who wait until you fall in love to tell you some crazy things? Well, that would go insane. That's just a mad scene on the whole.
Mhm.
Are there core things that should tell somebody when you first time, like if you have a child and all them kind of different things, STD?
Yeah, once you're getting into a romantic, once it's going into a romantic, you realize this moving, not friends, but if you realize you're moving into romance, the person needs to know if you have a child. I think the person needs to know if you was married and divorced, right? There are people who be separate or going through divorce and they feel that they could just be going around um courting and dating, right? That's not right. If you're going through divorce, wait till you finish get divorced before you start courting people, girl children, or vice versa, woman, people, boy children. Um, so if you're divorced, if you have children, if you have some kind of disease, also if you're transgender, come up and tell them one time I'm transgender. 'Cause that's like a real thing in the world now. Not even joking, that is a real thing. Um,
What
so
you say? After 2 years of court, I finally person are transgender.
yeah, you have to tell them if you're transgender up front. That's a real thing, Kyle.
Oh, okay, okay. You sure, right?
That's a
No.
real thing.
I think a good thing to do is go on your first date is go somewhere where they require your ID card or your birth paper.
So you need that now, eh? Good.
You need that all the time now.
Yeah.
I need to forget.
But I'll be honest with you, like sometimes I think about the future, you're sure and I think and they're saying, what the future have in store for it, boy? Because you all know it have men. There's look like women.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's an old Adam's apple and thing, them looking like woman and vice
yeah,
versa. It has some women looking like man, boy. And it'll be like, what are you jail, boy? And imagine one day somebody had to meet these people and something will happen. Because obviously they're starting off too, like when they're young now. They don't do the transformation and the stay happening when they get older and stuff. But yeah. I think you just have to be open with the people, but obviously that is if it is you have to figure out a way also to get the person to open up. That is your duty in a relationship to figure out how to do that, like about their past relationships and thing. You have to
yeah.
figure out how to ask a person. Like you must always ask a question with a story every 3 months. Ask the same question and figure out a different way to answer it because
Yeah.
everybody will always paint themselves as a hero in their own story. They will never try to, and you might catch them slipping up if you ask them in a little different way. Like, I was a psycho, a bossy car glass, and, that's why we dare fall out. And, people, they ain't going to tell you that happened. They got to figure out how to, so what happened when they break up? So they'll get vexed and thinking, I went on by the car, and the next 3 months, you ask them the same question. So what happened to the car? I telling you all from experience, not from my personal life. I know somebody that's what happened, they end up falling out, and the girl take a sign. I stop the no entry sign when it's park up outside.
Yeah.
Take this is a partner of mine. That's his first like serious relationship, right? Take the no entry sign and bust the man car glass. Uh-huh.
Pick up a no entry sign.
Sorry, no entry sign, no parking sign. Enter the thing that's be on the ground.
Oh, okay.
And she bust her ex-boyfriend car glass that way. So when my partner was telling me the story about her, I said, Brett, you need to run from this relationship, You're not dealing with something normal here, and so said, so done. The girl was a little psycho.
She burst her car glass to her.
Nah, something close to that. Yeah.
I would say psycho. She's expressing herself.
We have another question here. I think we can go through this quickly.
Going run, boy.
Y'all kind of touch on this just now. I think you can let me know if your answer is already neat. What about telling someone about your past? Do you need to tell someone about your past if you have given your life to God and you have changed? And then she says, what's in your past is in your past.
There's some aspects of your past that I think go to the person. Not all. I wouldn't say all. right? But there's some. If you were in jail, if you were in jail, I would want to know if you were in jail. I want to know if you committed a crime. I want to know if there's a record of you as a criminal somewhere. Those are things that I would want to know. I would want to know if you have child mothers all over the place. It might be in your past, but you have three children for three different mother, all of them spread out. You don't take care of them, you don't see them, but I want to know, right? Or if you did, now this is something people say, well, that's my past, but if you were very promiscuous, very, you had multiple partners, that is something that I would want to know if I go into a relationship,
Amen.
right? So you might say, well, that's my past, I don't do that anymore. But I mean, the fact of the matter is there are a lot of risk involved in that. You know, you could pick up a disease, you could all kind of thing, even spiritually. Now I know it is of your past, and if the person move on and they're not living that lifestyle again, you don't want to be bringing up their past. But I personally would want to know. But
I
there's
think
some
that is
not
something severe too. I think you owe the other, if like any other say,
yeah,
you owe the
not
person to tell
everything,
them certain
not
things.
everything. I don't have to know every single itty bitty detail, but there's
Hmm.
some things that could affect our life together. I would want to know those things. Definitely.
Yeah. Because that would be weird if it is you're a guy and you sleep around about, like I say, about 30 people in Trinidad alone, right? And you going out on dates and like with your wife, and it's how the same woman watching you, and at least give the woman a heads up to know you live a life now, man. It could be kind of
Correct.
weird to, you're hearing
Correct.
stories about your husband or your wife
Correct.
elsewhere, and it's
Yeah.
like a
Even
mystery now to you.
and
That's
Trinidad is
real
a
unfair.
small country. So my thing is
Yeah,
take front. It's a small
yeah.
country. Take front, take front.
Because some people just think that, Onika, that you don't really need to know my past and that kind of way, and they feel, well, so what? Yeah, it's a different person today. You're judging me on my past because they would see you're judging me.
And I would feel a little how if you don't want to tell me too. If I ask you
Hmm.
and it's something you don't want to tell me, that would concern me. I'll be honest, that would really concern me. Especially if it's in your past and it's no
I,
longer you.
I personally think I can move forward in a relationship like that. Like if it is, like I
Yeah.
said, I asked a young lady about things that they do on different, and they can't really
Yeah.
answer me like a
Yeah.
legit way. I do think I can get closer to them and that kind. I know Mark had. I know Mark can
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah.
Mark wants to know her answer quick if she kept herself, and if she can't come out and answer that,
Yes.
Mark say, "Alright, I good."
Well,
Yes.
I sometimes now I just wonder if that was a good or bad thing on my end. I don't know.
No, I not ask. I not here to ask if you're good or bad. No, but just saying that you had you would have liked
But
to know a certain question, and you wanted to know. Yes.
I used to find very nice ways of kind
No, my
of
point is, if the person was never, they was just keep shading the answer and they was
yeah.
lying and they never wanted it, you would have a problem, eh?
I would have been very terrified, honestly. But I don't know if that's maybe me issue on my end. So I would not want to do them the injustice of getting close to them knowing I have this issue now.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey guys, we about to wrap up. I just have one question again, right? What is my last question, Oli? And I really want to ask this question with Mark, right? And then Ava will give it the giveaway. Is it okay for a woman to go by a gynecologist? Your wife, your fiance.
No,
A male gynecologist.
a male gynecologist.
A male gynecologist. Because
I
they're
just
male.
asking a question.
No, of course women go by
Okay, well, let
gynecologist.
Mark answer the question then. I know it's some foolishness kind of coming with, from the time you say
It's
this,
a
I
serious
want to know.
question. It's a serious question.
Mark, take
Well,
us away.
I would say you pray about it. And I would say nothing is wrong with it. And my humble anyhow, I would just say nothing is wrong with that.
It's a very specific question. Well, yeah, this is
And
this.
you go to the people who have the most experience. Let me put it
I
that
could
way.
be
You go
honest
to
with you.
people
Yeah,
who have experience.
I could understand why people do it, but I have a problem with that on the whole, breads.
Yeah.
See,
With what gynecologist?
yes,
We didn't have a problem with gynecologist.
on the whole,
I am understanding.
It's just a weird thing.
You mean it's an uncomfortable thing, but you don't have a problem with it. So having a
but I mean,
problem
I
with
have a problem with this is meaning that that's a weird profession to pick for your life as a man.
But why
It's a
would
man, right? So say that say a man, because everybody online don't know where they're coming from. They know
People
this
don't
is a
like
man in
understand
Africa.
because you ask the question you ask is if a woman could go to a gynecologist,
A
but I
male, a
think
woman,
in
a
a
male, a
male
male, a male, a male, a male, a male.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
well,
a male gynecologist.
I would just say he unqualified. Unqualified.
Actually, this is a great
Yeah.
question. I'm glad Kyle bring this up. People in the comments, please. This I am being them on foolishness, but I genuine. Ladies, gentlemen, as well. I would really like to hear from you, gentlemen. Would you be okay with your wife going to a male gynecologist, or would you
I will.
demand that she has
Okay,
to go to a female?
Mark, as a believer, right? Imagine you kept your wife kept yourself for all this time, and you never see nothing, and you had to go by the doctor. You go by the doctor say, all right, lie down there, woman, and that's weird. Only I don't care what nobody tell me. As a man, and I can tell you that's weird.
There's nothing is wrong with it.
I,
Alistair said, "Pray and say who."
well, yeah, but I just think a woman would have been more qualified in that field as they have more experience.
And the reason why
No,
he's saying that is because he's saying that a woman already has those parts and a man doesn't. So that's why he's saying a woman is more qualified. Because Diana say he went to medical school, didn't he?
Yeah, but she had practical her whole life.
I would like to know what that was like in the old time days in the Bible days. Imagine Sarah going to the gynecologist.
yeah, Kyle,
Uh-huh.
in the old days,
They are
they
finally not giving me straight answers here.
had midwives, right? They
Uh-huh.
just being midwives implies a woman, right?
Right.
But in the older days, right, the people who were doctors were predominantly male. That's a fact,
Hmm.
right? In
Right. Right.
the 20s, 30s, 40s. So to find a female gynecologist in, let's say, the 40s or the 30s, right, would have been a rare thing. It's only
Hmm.
now you have a lot of females in the whole in the field on a whole, right? So there are people who had no choice at some point but to go to a male gynecologist because most doctors were male, right?
Hmm.
So what they would do, what they would have to do in the 40s when they can't find a female gynecologist.
I don't know how the answer. No, I just say it kind of weird.
Yeah.
I know. You hear me say anything about right and wrong here, all online, or everybody who listen. I never say nothing about right and wrong, you know. I just say it kind of weird. But anyhow, all great, all conversation.
Let me tell you something. This is honesty. This is honesty. It's not being honest from my heart. This is the truth. I I had issues when I
Hold on. Bring back your heart. Bring back your heart. It beating fast right now. Internet, it beating so fast. The internet giving some issues there.
my internet.
You're right. Go ahead now. Yes, you're back.
Okay, let me come off the laptop. Yeah. Okay, are good? Are back?
Yes.
Hmm.
Yes, we hear.
So,
Go ahead.
somebody say be present with your wife when that time come. You're sure, right? I'm gonna be present, and I'll be present with a gun on my side. And while he do anything, I just have my gun here on my hip here, saying, "Hey, is he seen doc?" And I just watching he straight in the face right through. But go ahead, Onika.
You're hearing me? Are back?
Yeah, you're
Yeah.
back. You go ahead. You're better now, yeah.
Right. That's it. This is honesty from my heart. I'm not just saying this, right? I've been to many gynecologists from young, right? Um, and the only time I felt uncomfortable, right? And I'm not lying, is when I went to one female gynecologist, right? And I'm talking about from young, about a teenager, right? Because I had a cyst that I had to remove, right? An ovarian cyst. Um, the only time I felt uncomfortable, it was a female gynecologist, right? And the lady was making some strange statements, right? That I think she thought was okay because we were both females. Like everything is looking, look, I don't want to say things, right? I don't want to say what she's saying, right?
Yeah, don't say it,
And
but go ahead. Hmm.
she was making strange statements. And I was feeling a vibe. I just being honest from her. I just getting a vibe, right? And this is as a teenager I'm talking about. And I went to many male gynecologists, and there was no time. I'm not lying to you. There's no time that I felt even like. Of course, I felt uncomfortable having to do what I had to do, but I mean, I didn't feel any way from them then. Like I didn't feel no like I didn't get that vibe from them. Like if you know, but the woman that I went to that had I was feeling very, very, very uncomfortable. Which is, I mean, that's just been my experience. You know. So yeah, but
You
the
know,
male
many women I hear say that.
huh?
I said I've heard so many women say that they
Yes,
prefer to go to males
yes.
versus
The
men.
bedside manners of the male doctor were my
And I
guy.
want to say, a male pizzical
Yes,
one time. You,
his
if it's a
bedside
legit,
manners were exceptional.
he
Yeah.
might, he know what not to say and what to say because that would be an
Correct.
awkward
Yes.
conversation. I can
Yeah.
see a woman being a little too friendly, and she maybe not necessarily um meaning implying anything, but she could ask certain questions, and But as for me, I still rather go by a male doctor for to see what my business is. That's just me personally, Mark. Yeah. I went by a male doctor once already, and I had to cough. I had to. And I
All
couldn't
right.
picture myself going by a
This
female,
is
that'd be
this
real
is
weird.
an, this is another show.
Yeah.
Let's go on.
Anyhow, oh, if I don't have to answer your question, right? But I know you read one today in the comment section but you
They
could.
barely say anything. Some say yes, some, and most of them say pray.
Yeah.
They say
That's
trust
a,
God.
that's a touchy subject, Mark.
Yeah.
I'm thinking real people want to give me a straight out yes or no, boy.
Only Mark offend a doctor who in this feeling, you offend him.
Now the doctor was not in that field.
No, like just saying, he was a doctor, but you offend that doctor bad. Mark,
Anyway, for the
yeah.
giveaways, guys. I know we've been here for quite some time already,
Yeah.
so I think we got most of the comments, or at least a good bit of the
Yeah,
comments.
yeah,
So we
yeah,
can
we good there, you good.
our giveaways, all right? So let me see. For sure. I think I have two more giveaways, right? Because I only did the first one. Ayana Toussaint, you are always here. I think Ayana is one of our number one viewers. She's always here with us. She's always
Yeah.
commenting. And I think you may have won stuff in the past. I can't remember, but it's my honor to give you one of our giveaways tonight. So congratulations to you, Ayana. We love having you here. We appreciate you. And we're really grateful that you're always here interacting with us, right? And thanks for all your questions tonight. You had quite a few questions, and we enjoyed answering them. And I hope you got everything answered, all right? Let me see who was the second person. I had somebody that was new, I think, but I'm not seeing that person's name here. Naomi Spencer, congratulations to you. You are our third and final winner tonight. I am not sure if I ever saw your name here before, Naomi. So if you are viewing for the first time or if you're commenting for the first time, thank you for being here. And welcome to the Real Talk Show. A special welcome to you and for anybody else who's here for the first time. I want to say a really special welcome to all of you and for everyone that commented and asked you questions. We're really grateful for that. We love being able to share with you all and communicate with you all. That's the point of this platform. I always say it. And of course, if there's anything in particular you want to hear us talk about, be sure to inbox us. If there's anything that you say, Real Talk does always talk about all these different things, but somehow they never touch on this specific topic. Let us know. We will be happy to do a show on it for all of you or for anybody that really wants to hear from us on a certain topic. So feel free to inbox us, guys. And thanks again for coming out. Thanks again for being here and sharing your Saturday night with us. We are here every other Saturday, and our show is always up on our Facebook page and it's there on our YouTube channel as well. So if at the end of the show you feel like it blessed your life and you want to share it with someone, feel free to do that. And if you liked what you saw here tonight, remember to subscribe on YouTube and to like our page as well, all right? And make sure and click on that notification bell so every time we hear you get that notification. You're here with us from the get-go, from the start, because we love having you all here with us, all right? Thanks, guys, again for being here, for sharing with us, for being transparent. Some of you all shared some stories. I really pray and I hope that you all took some things away, especially for the young ladies, the young men out there looking to get into relationships. So considering someone, I hope you took the things tonight. And then I really encourage you all to trust God, guard your heart. Marriage and relationship is a beautiful thing, but you have to be wise, right, in the decisions that you make because it affects the rest of your life. All right. So, guys, enjoy the rest of your night, enjoy your Sunday, and we will see you all at the next show. All right. And congratulations again to all of you winners. Bye, everyone.
Good
Have a
night.
good night.